who won this trade? Was it the Detroit Lions or the LA Rams?
Well, for me, I'm kind of split down the middle on this. It's way too early to actually tell who actually won this trade. I do believe, like I said earlier, I think that the LA Rams did get an upgrade in quarterback. And I think we got a lot of draft capital that I don't think that a lot of teams were obviously not willing to give us 2 firsts, a third, and a player. It's extremely early to tell. The 2 firsts are the kicker for me. It's beautiful getting those because, like I said too before, we don't know what's going to happen with these Rams. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh man, the Rams are Super Bowl contenders." Okay, but you forgot about the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks and the up and coming Arizona Cardinals. They got something to say about that.
And that's just inside the division, Mark. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah. No, exactly. Great point, man. That's exactly what I'm saying. That NFC West is no joke. So, like for me right now, I'm at a wait and see approach with it because I can't say who won and who lost. I don't really have an opinion just yet on that, but I think both teams made out like bandits. I really do.
Wow. Mark, that's actually surprising, man, but I respect that opinion. Now, Mike, who do you think won this trade? Is it your Detroit Lions or the LA Rams? And I know you'll give us an unbiased opinion, but who do you think won this trade?
Hands down, Detroit Lions won this trade. Rams are depending on one player to take them to a Super Bowl. They've already been to the playoffs. They won with Jared Goff, and they expect to win a Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford is just one person. Now they have to re-sign all these free agents that they have on their team that made their defense extremely good. You're going to be inability to do so with that, and you don't have draft capital to build upon this. If they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, Sean McVay could be gone. Why? Because you don't have draft capital. You're depending on one person. If Stafford gets injured, and he has been injured the last 3 years, 2 broken backs and everything last year, they're in a world of hurt. We get 4 players out of this. We get a Jared Goff, a 3rd-round pick, and 2 first-round picks. We're not dependent on one player. We're dependent on 4, and we're dependent on draft capital, in which you can go up and down a draft. You're not stuck at one position, and you can work your way through there. No one in their right mind would have thought a player who's hurt themselves 3 years in a row, 33, would get 2 first picks, a 2nd or a 3rd-round pick, and a quarterback. That's an insane deal. Deshaun Watson's licking his chops right now. At least the Houston Texans are. Because if they can get that for Matthew Stafford, imagine being 25 and doing what he did for the Texans. That is a lot of capital to depend on one player. I don't like that because if that one player gets injured, and it's very possible, you're in a world of hurt. If you don't win a Super Bowl, you're in a world of hurt. And I guess, like Mark was saying, Arizona, San Francisco, Seattle, they have something to say about that. They're not just automatically Super Bowl contenders. Seattle, a pretty good team. 49ers, pretty good team. Arizona, pretty good team. That's a lot depending on one. I would rather take the 4.
Well, they put all their eggs in the Matthew Stafford basket, and the Rams, after coming up after the deal is done and the time passes with the Detroit Lions, we're talking about 7 or 8 years since they had a number 1 first-round pick. I'm sorry. So that will be since Jared Goff was drafted. Now, Mike, we're going to start with you. It was some reports that came out about what other teams may have been offering for the Detroit Lions quarterback, Matthew Stafford. And we've got some information here. I'll put this on the screen. And the Rams kind of had the best deal. But, Mike, is there any other deal? Just off the top, we can just take this page right here from this first page. Is there any other deal that you see on this screen that you would have given Matthew Stafford up for? I know a lot of people feel like the Carolina pick was also going to be a good one, but is there anything you see here that kind of sparks your interest?
Only the Carolina Panthers pick sparked my interest there. With the 8th overall pick, you'd have 7 and 8. You could really go up and get a quarterback. You can trade back. You're getting a later pick. It doesn't tell you what later pick it is, so potentially 2 players for 1. Other than that, I would not want any other deal because 2 first-round picks and a 3rd and a player is much better than every other deal on there besides Carolina. I still think that the deal that we got was the best one that was given, and we took it. Yes, we don't have a first-round pick next year from the team. With that said, folks, we have one the year after and the year after, and nobody on planet Earth can just say that, oh, Rams going to the Super Bowl and win it 2 years in a row, so it's going to be two 32nd pick. What if they suck? What if Matthew Stafford goes down? Look what the Miami Dolphins did to the Houston Texans. They're picking third in the draft because of Houston sucked. They thought that idea would work, and it worked the benefit of Miami, not in the benefit of the Houston Texans.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? I'm looking here, and I see a lot of people were enamored with this Carolina Panthers pick. They would have given us the 8th overall, which means that we would have had the 7th pick and the 8th. While that's enticing, there also would have been a later round pick. And out of this as well, I think it's intriguing that the Indianapolis Colts, they offered a lot of things, but they never offered their first round pick, which is 21st overall. So I'll go and I'll say a lot of people feel like that maybe we should have taken the Carolina deal, but we also have to understand that the Lions were trying to work with Matthew Stafford. So from my opinion, I think that this was the best deal. We got a guy who is starting caliber, and that's what I said before. We don't want to have to get a guy. I'm not very fond on a Tyrod Taylor. I'm not very fond of a Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I think that out of these couple 4 teams that the Lions took the best deal. Now, Mark, what do you think? Do you think the Lions took the best deal? Is there any other package on this screen that appeals to you in any way?
Well, the packages that I've seen here, like, yeah, I'm in total agreement with you guys. The Carolina Panthers offer was probably the best offer. We would have the 8th overall pick from them, and that later pick, we don't know what that later pick was. There's rumors that it was the 3rd. I don't know if that was true. But if we had the 7th and 8th pick, that's really tough to give up and say no to, because you could do so much damage with 7 and 8. Like Mike said, move up, move down, do whatever you want to do. You can even grab a Micah Parsons and a Gregory Rousseau back to back. Possibly that could have been really enticing right there. I just don't know what that later round pick was, because it never really came full circle. It just says plus a later pick. Yeah. So, but I think we got the better end of the deal. I think the Rams deal, 2 firsts. So we're gonna have a total of 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years, starting next year, which is phenomenal, I think. And like you said, we're gonna get a serviceable quarterback, who I think. And listen, I'm not dissing him, man. I know, Mark, and I appreciate your candor. Dissing him. I'm just saying, I just think that he's serviceable, and I really think he's on a 2-year window. I really do, because his out is 2023. Where it's not going to cost a dime to get rid of him. So, and you can actually save money next year if it's a total flop. You can save $10 million. So, I'm hoping I'm hoping he is the guy. Like I hope it really is, man. Like, you know what I mean? I hope he turns his career around. But going back to what we were saying, I think the Rams was the best deal.
Yeah, as do I. And if we take a look at the other teams that were up there, the San Francisco 49ers, the Broncos, the Patriots, which is ironic because he said, send me anywhere but New England. I don't want to go there. And I think it's very intriguing that the Jets also checked in. Not sure what that means, but they checked in to look at Matthew Stafford. Now, what really, really intrigues me about this is 2 on here. San Francisco had the nerve to not offer the 12th overall pick, which to me was a no-brainer as well. And on here, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the Denver Broncos did not want to part with Drew Lock. So that brings me to this point here. They didn't want to part. Exactly right. They didn't want to part with Drew Lock, okay, because they said he was a part of their young core, right? So a lot of Lions fans are saying, like, we could have had Drew Lock because our organization did have interest in one Drew Lock, but thankfully we got Jared Goff from the Rams. So, Mike, is there anything on this page that would maybe entice you a little more than what we saw before?
The Broncos discussed pick equating swap for a first round late pick. They don't have a first round late pick, so I was just curious to see what is that meant to be by? How would
Yeah.
you get a late first round pick when they don't have one? So maybe there's another team involved. I'm just curious the behind the scenes with that specific deal that they had on the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mark, what do you think, man? Is there anything on here? San Francisco has Jimmy G. They seem like they're not going to really keep him, and they've given up on him as well. All but, is there anything on here that might have intrigued you over the first page?
Yeah, there's nothing on here that intrigues me. Like this checked in thing too.
Yeah.
This checked in. Okay.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? And I'm actually offended by the Broncos. I'm actually offended by the Broncos offer.
As you should be,
like,
my friend.
Just like Mike said, man. What, like, you don't have like what do you mean a late first round pick? Like future? Like I don't even know what that means. And
Exactly.
And the 49ers, go away. Like you know what I mean? Like like you guys. That whole page right there, it disgusts me, man.